So I am so excited to be here today having a really important conversation with somebody who has managed to take the spirit of what this thing we call WangaWoman is and put it together in art in a way that everybody who has had the opportunity to experience it thus far is so grateful for. I have a sister in spirit and in mission named LaKendra Huckaby that is here with me today. If you are unfamiliar, a few months ago, we decided that we wanted to represent WangaWoman in our mission of democratizing authenticity. But instead of trying to create a whole bunch of different merch items that reflect that, we wanted to give the community an opportunity to tell us how they would reflect it. And that led to an art contest where we put out an ask for artists to submit what our mission and the way that we exist meant to us. And today we get to have a conversation with the woman that presented the piece of art that won, not just in terms of the contest, but one for the culture and one for our organizational mission as a community of people that want to operate in the purpose they were born to serve. So it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to our family and our community, Sister LaKendra Huckaby. Hey, love, how
Hi,
are you?
I'm
Hi,
great.
how are
Glad
you?
to be
You
here.
good? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So before I start asking you a few questions about yourself, what does being here mean to you? Like, are you a little nervous? Are you a little excited? Like, where's your feeling right now before we go into the discussion?
I am definitely a little nervous, but I think I'm more excited than nervous because this is a confirmation that I am doing what I am supposed to be doing in the world. There are a lot of times I've questioned that purpose. So this is really affirming for me as well. It's very powerful.
Here's what I love about what you said. And ladies and gentlemen, there has been no rehearsal, so don't believe that any of this is choreographed, right? We are living what authenticity means. I actually love what you said about the balance between excited and nervous. But one of the things that you shared was this is validation. One of the things we believe here at Wanga Woman is that the universe affirms that which is right. Once you go on the path of your purpose, you start to get those little intuitive things that tell you that this is the right thing. So, what I would love to be my first question to you is one, who is LaKendra Huckaby? And what do you mean this moment is a validation?
That's a deep question. But I am at my core a creative that just loves to touch the world with beautiful things. I love to inspire. I am a teacher. I am a mom to a beautiful 2 year old named Indigo. But on the artistic side, I am just a deep person that needed something to help me express what I was feeling, because
Hmm.
I did not grow up feeling beautiful. I did not grow up feeling seen. I did not grow up feeling like I was important in this world. I grew up feeling very small, and in turn, like I started hiding myself. But with my art, it has allowed me to operate on a more free plane while also making other women feel beautiful. And that has been my mission since that time that I started.
So I'm gonna ask you to go a little bit further into that background of feeling small or not feeling seen. I am a person who can remember a time in my life where I intentionally made myself small because living out who I was brought pain, right? Because it was different and people didn't know how to take it, and so they responded in ways that were really hurtful. What do you
Yeah.
mean you used to feel small, unseen, and not beautiful? What do you mean by that?
So there were a lot of times in my life where I felt like my skin tone, like, being a darker woman, in a family where a lot of the women were fairer skinned, and also going to school with people who did not look like me. So I was bullied for my lips. I was bullied for being heavier set. I was bullied for my skin tone. I was bullied for pretty much almost everything that made me who I was as a young black girl, even just growing up, like a young woman of color trying to operate in a world that wasn't really showing me beautiful versions of myself. So I, in turn, like I tried to hide myself in order to not be, like, not bring attention to myself. I thought it was safer to not bring attention to myself because, of course, that means like the bullying can stop. People can stop making fun of me, and people can stop making me feel like what I have about me is ugly. Like there were points where I did feel that. So that was my way of making sure I never had to feel that anymore.
You said something really, really touching in your opening where you said, and I may say it wrong. If I do, please correct me. But you said, I like to touch people with beautiful things.
Yes. Yes,
Where did that come from, and what does that mean?
that came from a little girl who did not feel beautiful when I looked in the mirror. And as a result of that, I would settle for things that I shouldn't have settled for. And I did not give myself the love I deserved. And I saw other girls that looked like me going through the same thing, even growing up into adulthood and talking to friends who felt that. I feel like as an artist, it is my responsibility to make sure that narrative changes because I have a responsibility for the future. Like what I create isn't about me now, but what little girls growing up under me are able to see and feel.
Where is home? Where did LaKendra grow up? Where did she grow into herself?
So my hometown is Columbus, Georgia. Columbus, Georgia is about 2 hours away from Atlanta, Georgia. But I actually grew into myself when I left my hometown. I left my hometown and I
Hmm.
moved up to Newark, New Jersey. Did not know what I was doing at all. But while up there, I immersed myself in the culture. I went through a lot of pain, but also a lot of beautiful transformation as well, and it made me the artist I am. Honestly, it's really where I found my skills at. So
So let's talk about becoming an artist, right? Because
yeah.
you referred to yourself as a creative. You referred to yourself as an artist. You've talked about what inspires you in art. Was there any training? Did you choose to just start? Was it a natural gift? Did you go to school for it? How did all of that come out?
So when I was 2 years old, my mom actually, in order to like keep me calm and give me something to do with my hands, she would give me art supplies like crayons, colored pencils, markers, things of that nature. So I grew up being the kid that loved creation. But then I started honing my skills into something more amazing when I went to high school and I was in a graphic design class. And that class showed me that I could take my art and take it to a more professional business level. Because I always knew I loved to draw, but most of us don't know you can make a really big business out of this and you can touch a lot more people that way. So after high school, I went to college for graphic design. I dropped out because my work wasn't really what they were looking for. Like I really believe in the
Mm.
freedom of creation, and there is not a lot of
Hmm.
freedom in a lot of the industry standard that the schools expected from me, so I had to go. So from there I started teaching myself how to paint, and that's where I am now.
So can you stay there for a second? One of the things that we believe here at WangaWoman is who you are is who you are. If you
Yes.
cannot be who you are, where you are, you change where you are, not who you are. So a lot of people would assume that when you go to an art school, that's Caroline's words, not your words, right? When you go to an art school, that you're in the place where your artistic, creative freedom can thrive. So to hear you say you went to a place that was supposed to sharpen your skills as an artist and you didn't feel the creative freedom necessary to become the artist you needed to be is so fascinating to me because people would assume that that would be the perfect where for somebody who wants to be an artist. Will you dig into that a little bit more? Because I think this will really be helpful for people.
I tell everybody I come in contact with that wants to do art that art school is not necessary, because I truly believe art operates the best in passion. In art school, they are trying to teach you how to do things their way, but those ways might not be the ways you want to go, you know? And I really feel like art school can drain you of that passion because you're trying so hard to please everyone else that you're losing yourself for a grade or for a piece of paper. Like it's a lot that can go into it politically as well. With just trying to please all of your professors and trying to in a way compete with other students for grades or for critiquing or anything.
At what point in your experience did you realize that?
So my last semester, I realized that because I was in a class. It was a figure drawing class where we were drawing nude models every day. And every day the teacher would tell me my work was bad. He literally said, "You should not be an artist." Like he told me this to my face. He was like, "You do not belong here. I don't know how you got this far." He was very blunt, but in so many words he pretty much told me I should not be an artist. And at that point I was like, that's your opinion, but that tells me I am not where I belong, because I know that my passion is enough.
I love that. And next I'm going to ask you to talk about the design you created. But here's what I love about that, right? One of the things that I tell people a lot about the purpose journey is you don't need anybody to go with you. You have to have this unmitigated gall to believe in a future that other people may not be able to see. And people
Yes.
signing on to what you have decided is what you want to do in the world does not require their support, and a lot of times that becomes isolating, and you're going against the grain of a lot of things. And your story about that professor, who now I hate too, my professor, because I'm loyal. You mess with one of mine, you to mess with one of mine, and I hate you too, communally. But your ability to not listen to that voice that was intended to stop you and tell you you're not qualified to be here, and yet stand in the belief of what you call your passion,
Yes.
and choose to believe that I am in the wrong place with the wrong voice weighing in on what I'm supposed to do, what I'm not, is not an artist. That in and of itself, and even though you lived it, you may think it's just a moment, but do you know how many people get deterred by the person who they give authority to tell them they can't, and they stop? And then we don't get to places like, if you would have stopped, I don't know that we get to be here in the moment that brought us together, right? And I
Wow.
just want to commend you. And I hope you realize that while it might be just a moment for you, it is a momentous thing for people to do what you did. And I honor you honoring yourself in that moment, because now I want you to tell the story of, how did you find out about the art contest? When you found out, how did you feel about it? And what in the world were you thinking when you created this image? And what does it mean?
So this piece is about someone who is channeling their inner light and letting it reflect to everything around them as well. Like even down to just like the yellow outline around her face. That is her inner light shining outwardly. Because when you are yourself, you are giving other people permission to be themselves as well. And it ends up being so powerful. So I just wanted her to I wanted her to reflect that power, even in just like her head being up. Every single element was super intentional for that.
The graphics in the background, the
Yeah.
blue kind of shapes, what do those represent?
Those represent the abstract world around us, and how nothing is black and white. You know, everything is abstract, and how we shape it is based on how we respond to it. So these shapes look beautiful because her being herself is how she's shaping the world around her. And I really feel like that's really powerful and the importance of authenticity. So,
So two questions and then
yes,
we'll close. The first of those is, if I am a person who is looking at this image,
yes.
what do you want me to what do you want it to do for me? What would you want me to walk away from having encountered this image?
I want you to look at it and feel powerful. I want you to look at it and feel like your authenticity is your superpower. But I also want you to know that you are supported in that, which is why the image is smiling and her head is held high. To let people know you are not alone in this. This is something that we are doing together.
Can we talk about baby Indigo
Oh, yeah. Oh,
for a
yes.
second? So
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the things, I have a daughter, lots of folks have children or play some sort of parenting capacity or mentoring capacity to somebody. And
Yes.
you created this piece with intent. You've talked about what your intent is for how you want people to take it in. What does, as the creator of this piece, what does this piece mean to Indigo?
To Indigo, this piece means that he is growing up in a world that does not hold him being himself against him. He is growing up in a world where his authenticity is truly his superpower. It's something that I try to show him every day of my life and every day of his life. But I feel like my art is a way for me to show him that on a deeper level, because this is something that he can hold and carry with him even at whatever point he decides, when he grows up to leave me for a little while. Like no matter where he's at, he will know like this is what my mom created. This is what she nailed into me. So he doesn't have to try to make himself small or try to hide who he is.
Here's what I love about that, right? Because the name of our business is WangaWoman, the image looks like a woman. There are people that may try to remove themselves from this image speaking to them because they may think you have to be black for it to make sense to you, or you have
Oh,
to be a woman for it to make sense to you. So, the reason why I wanted you to tell the story of what it meant to Indigo is because as a boy, it means something to him too. And it was
yes.
so important to me for you to tell that story because people can sometimes over think and compartmentalize themselves about whether or not something is for them. So, for you as the creator of the piece to say it is just as relevant for Indigo as it is for LaKendra, as it is for Caroline, as it is for anybody else was so, so powerful. And I'm going to thank you, but then I'm going to ask you to close with anything else that you want to share with this group. But before I ask you to do that, I don't know that there's enough words for me to thank you for taking the call to action when your friends sent you this art contest and spending the time putting your gifting to paper and creating an image. There are people who weighed in on the decision about who should win this contest. There were other submissions. When I tell you that encountering your submission was the most automated, unanimous experience I've had in a long time in something like this. I want you to know that because you created something that spoke to everybody uniquely, but gave everybody the same response, which is, this is it. And we debated other designs. There was no debate about this design. There is nobody that has encountered it and felt anything other than everything that you put into it. And I know being creative 3 times a week because I want to be a creative one day in my life, and I feel like I'm 3 day a week creative, right? I know I'm not all the way there, but I feel like on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'm a good one, right? But what I do know is that there's no separation between your gifting and your person. And when you put this out, you have put a piece of yourself out. And I want
Yeah.
to thank you for thinking about our community as worthy enough to have a piece of you. Well done. Well done.
Thank you
Well done.
so much.
And thank you. And we are going to make sure that from a creative perspective, from a business perspective, and from a value perspective, we make this available in all the ways that we can. You are a member of the WangaWoman tribe. You are with us. There's some other stuff I'm gonna call you about. They got nothing to do with this art contest because I got some ideas for some stuff. But for the sake of what we're doing here, we honor you. This is about you. And the way in which everything that you've lived in life was contributed to a moment that will forever change the life of others. And when you said you want to touch people with beautiful things, baby, this one ain't touching people, it's rubbing them all over. And I couldn't be prouder of you for what you gave. So, as we close, is there anything else on your heart, in your spirit, on your mind that you want to share while you have the platform?
I just want to, first of all, I want to thank Wanga Woman for this opportunity. Something that's very important for me to say. If there is anyone out there that has a dream and they are afraid to chase it because of what others may think or what something inside of them is telling them, just do it. You never know where it can take you, but you have to get started in order to find out. And it's worth it. If it's something you love or something you're passionate about, it's worth it. So, yes.
I don't know that there's better words to close on, sis, and I will be in contact with you personally, but I want to thank you for taking the time to submit this piece. You're going to see it everywhere. We're going to see you do more. If people want to get a hold of you for your art or for your skills, how can they contact you? We'll make sure we publish it, but say it here too.
Yes. So I have an Instagram, it's huck.jpg. And then you can also search my name on Facebook. I do a lot of different things over there. And my email is lakendra.huckaby@gmail.com.
Thank you, love. And I hope that you and baby Indigo, I know they ain't a baby, but you know how I roll. Baby Indigo, have a wonderful day. Thank you for visiting with our community and community. Let's support our sister and more to come on this image and how it will continue to extend our purpose and our brand. Thank you, love. It was wonderful
Thank
to meet you.
you. You too.